Welcome, Math 8. So, up next is distribution. Now, a lot of us might know what the actual term distribution means in the real world, but in the math world, okay, it kind of means the same thing. So if I were to distribute something, that means I would give it out equally to each person. You know, if you were in class and I was distributing candy, each person would get one piece of candy. Okay, it's the same concept. In math, distribution relates when you have a coefficient in front of a set of parentheses or grouping symbols. Okay, for now it's just parentheses. Okay, but what that means is it's going to be multiplied. Similar to if I just had, you know, a 2x or a 2 times 3 like that. This is both multiplication. Okay, so to distribute, we take whatever's on the outside. Now, one thing I forgot, it needs to be right next to the parentheses. If there was a plus sign or a minus sign in between the 2 and the parentheses, it's not distribution. Okay, it's just addition or subtraction. Okay, and then you just do order of operations from there. For here, it's distribution because it's being multiplied. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 and we're going to multiply it by everything in the parentheses. Okay, the 14 on the right side you don't need to worry about at all. So we're going to take the 2, we're going to multiply it to the x, and we're going to multiply it to the negative 4. Okay, so 2 times x. Now we could write all of this out, okay, but when we get to the more difficult ones that become more important for here, you shouldn't need to. So 2 times x is just 2x, and then 2 times negative 4 will give me a negative 8, and then we still have our equals 14. One important thing to realize is when you are doing distribution is to not forget anything else in the problem. Okay, make sure you rewrite everything else that you didn't touch. And then now here you'll notice it's a 2-step equation. Some of you might notice that our last step is probably going to be division as well. Okay, it's very similar. This is why these equations kind of build off of each other. Okay, this is also going to relate to the next thing you're going to do. It's all kind of building up to the longer, bigger equations. So, 2-step equation. Let's add 8 to both sides. That'll give me a 0 on the left, so they can go away. I'll get 2x equals 22. Okay, and then as I said, last step, divide. And I'll get x equals 11. Okay, pause if you need to. For B, similar problem, made it a little bit more difficult like I normally do. 1, we have a negative, doesn't change the concept, you're still multiplying. Remember, there's nothing between the number and the parentheses, so it's still multiplication. And then you notice there's a 2x here that, again, doesn't change anything. Technically, there's a 1x in A. Okay, you didn't need to know that because it's just known already. So I'm going to distribute this negative 3. So I'm going to take negative 3 times the 2x. That will give me negative 6x. And now I'm going to take the negative 3 times the negative 4. So negative times negative gives me a positive. And that will give me 12. And then equals 22. So again, 2-step equation. Okay? So from here, subtract your 12 from both sides, like normal, you can do that. Now I get negative 6x equals 10. And then from here, I'm going to subtract, or not subtract, divide by negative 6. Okay, and this is where some people need to realize you can reduce. Okay, if I were to write this just kind of over here, we have x equals negative 10 over 6. You'll notice I kind of just migrate that negative to the top normally of a fraction points in our answer. But we have both even numbers. I always talk about when we reduce, try to divide by small numbers. Okay? If you could divide something by 4, well, you could have divided by 2 to start with to make it a little bit easier. Most people would prefer it just to get easier rather than guessing what the answer is. Okay, so if I divide both the top and bottom by a 2, I'm going to get negative 5 over 3, and that would be my answer. Okay, again, pause if you need to, and then try C on your own. All I did was I took the parentheses and I put it on the right side. It doesn't change the process. So pause if you need to, try C, otherwise here we go. Okay, so I'm going to distribute still. I'm going to multiply by 4 to both things. You can start by rewriting the 18. Nothing's going to happen there. Okay, 4 times 2x will give me 8x. And I'll take the 4 times the negative 5 as well, and I'll get negative 20. Okay, and again, it's a two-step equation. Okay, that should kind of be your goal, is to get to the two-step equation. Because if you can get to the two-step equation, we should be able to solve all of those. Okay, so I'm going to add the 20 to both sides. On the right, they will go away. We will get 38 equals 8x. And then we'll divide both sides by 8. And again, some of us might notice we can simplify that. Okay? Well, I can divide each of these by 2 because they're even. And I'm going to get 19 over 4 equals x. And that happens to be our answer. Okay? If you were to try to simplify this, we'll just start with small numbers. Does 2 go into 4? No. Does 2 go into 19? No. Does 3 go into 4? No. Okay, well, 2 goes into 4, yes. Sorry. 2 goes into 4, yes, but it does not go into 19. Then you try 3 and realize that doesn't work as well. So this would be our answer. Okay? So that has to do it for today. Up next will be the proportions that get a little bit more difficult, but knowing how to do this is going to make that a lot easier. Okay, so until next time, be safe out there. I'll see you then.